because in the writing process, you're not exactly like, I think this is hilarious, I'm going to write this down. At the back of your head, you're still thinking, like, I hope everybody thinks this is funny.
Right.
Or I'm going to write to what I think everybody else thinks is funny. Like, you're never going to block out everybody else and be like, I'm going to get up there because I'm hilarious.
Right.
At the end of the day, you have to get up there because you believe in whatever you're saying.
Right.
And you kind of hope, like, I hope everybody enjoys it.
It's like a Venn diagram. Like, there should be an overlap in what you think is funny and what people will think is funny. That's why when you hear people say, "Oh, my friends think I'm funny," it's like, well, yeah, but is everybody else going to think you're funny?
Right.
Like, of course your friends think
right.
you're funny because you're playing to their specific likes.
Right.
You can't do that when there's 50 people in an audience that you want to make all of them laugh. You may get a pocket of them. But
exactly.
You know what I mean? So
and a lot of people think, or I've heard some people talk about, this person's so funny on stage, I'd probably like them off stage, or we'd be great friends. Yeah. And then you meet them in real life, it's like, oh yeah, we do not mesh well at all.
Right.
Like, I enjoy your on-stage persona,
right,
but off-stage you're either a dick, or we just have different
maybe
likes
you're not
entirely.
funny on off-stage.
Exactly.
I heard somebody was telling me, like, Mike Birbiglia.
Yeah.
Super funny comic, but he's like, I'm always the least funny. Like, when I'm with a group of comics, I'm always the least funniest person, because I have to, like, sit down and write down what I think is funny. I'm not, like, good just, like, off the brain, like,
yeah,
well,
and there's been multiple times I've been at shows which kind of led me to kind of fall out of the scene, I guess.
Yeah.
I've been in circumstances where before the show or during the show or after the show, whatever, that all the comics will be hanging out outside, and I walk up and they're in a conversation. They're all hilarious.
Yeah.
And anytime I have something to interject, I always feel like it falls flat.
Yeah.
So I tend to, like, cower a little bit. Like,
right.
I'm gonna turn back into a wallflower.
Yeah.
And
I'm the same way, man.
Yeah. It's. I don't know. It's
you hang out with people like Donnie Townsend and Todd and
and
Ian and, like, all these people who I think are really funny on stage, but off stage I'm like, oh yeah, and, like, anytime I say anything I'm like, that wasn't funny.
Yeah, and, and that's exactly it. Guys like Donnie, Todd, and Ian always seem like they're on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They always seem like their mind's going, and
yeah.
It's hard to keep up. So when you judge yourself against guys like that, you're like, oh yeah, I'm a piece of trash. Like,
right.
It's hard to come back from that.
Yeah.
And you got to remember that there's people out there like that, like you, that aren't always aren't on,
mm-hmm.
and maybe funnier on stage than they are off stage.
Oh, I'm definitely funnier on stage than I am off. I mean, I think, I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope, because I don't think I'm funny at all off stage. So
no, there's been plenty of times where we haven't been on stage, we've just been talking, that I've laughed harder sometimes in our personal lives than I've laughed at anything you or I have said on stage.
Right.
It's like, that'd be hilarious.
But that's one of those things where we're friends, and so we're able to play to each other's likes,
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you were on stage and telling that story or recreating what we were talking about personally, it may fall flat.
Right.
Whereas some of the stuff you say on stage, you can't really, like, bringing that up in conversation is like, all right, like, why are we talking about this?
Right. By the way, I think I'm gonna, like, see if I can write some stuff about the laryngitis stuff, because I think that's funny myself.
Yeah. Well, and go ahead, man.
Yeah.
Like, I fully think that there's plenty to draw from there.
Yeah.
So get after it.
Right.
If you need a hand or you want to bounce things off of somebody that knows about
I'll shoot some
that knows
ideas your way.
about middle-aged rock stars getting laryngitis, let me know.
Right.
Man. I've seen it happen. I've seen it live.
Hell
yeah. I completely feel for you. I've been down that road, and me personally, a lot of that stuff has led to me kind of withdrawing from the scene. So hopefully I can I can help out in any way to keep you in, because I think you're funny, and I know
Thanks,
that
man.
you still have kind of a drive for it, even though
I
you
do.
say you're a little reserved now.
Sometimes I think you just need to. Sometimes I think you just need to take a break.
Yeah.
Like nobody can. I mean, we do our jobs every day. Maybe some people had the same job for 30 years, but they have to keep food on the table. I don't need to do comedy. I do it because I like to.
Yeah.
And I just think, if I'm feeling burnt out, it's just better to take a break, and find that drive. At some point I'm sure I'll be invigorated again and, whatever, but it's not a big deal though. I mean, I'm not like sad about it. I just think this is an honest
realization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I completely get that.
Yeah.
Well, and at the end of the day too, for right now, since it's not paying the bills, it's still technically a hobby.
Right.
So if you don't feel like you're being fulfilled by a hobby, you're more likely to go, I'm gonna put that on the back burner for a little while.
Right.
It's less so for work. It's like you have to be up and on for it, because that's what's putting food on the table.
Right.
But you just gotta stay at it, and I know this is something that you want to turn into something that pays the bills or puts food on the table or makes life a little bit easier with
I would love to, man.
paying gigs and stuff like that.
Sleep with lots of hot bitches.
For the ladies. But I get it completely. If anything, I always kind of kick myself in the ass because I've been known to take these big long breaks.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to. I always tell myself, or I'll perform and I go, this was fun, or I enjoy this. I'm gonna come out next week, and something comes up next week where I can't come out. It's like, okay, I'll put this off for another week, and another week turns into a month and turns into 6 months. It's like, holy shit, I haven't done it in a while. I should probably get back out there. Yeah. And then something else comes up, and you're a year down the road. It's like, holy shit, I did not mean for this long of a break.
Right.
I always see.
I did that when I first started doing comedy. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna keep doing comedy, and then I would just, life would get in the way, and I would do one show, or not even a show, but like an open mic or two every 3 or 4 months, and then life would get in the way again, and then when I got clean, I had I'd avoid a time that I had to fill with something else, and so I'm
right there, man. I always kind of, I don't know, I always put too much on my plate,
right?
And I've got to leave time for the wife, the kids, and also do the stuff that I want to do, and sometimes the stuff that I want to do outside of the house. Or outside of family time kind of takes the hit. So, and like I said, again, here we are a year down the road, and I haven't done stand-up in a while, and it sneaks up on you. It really does.
Right.
But that's the thing. Life gets in the way.
Yep.
But
I mean,
you win some, you lose some, I guess.
Right.
But what's going on otherwise in the life of Jake? You said you talked to a new girl. Is she nice?
It's the same girl that I've been talking to. It's I don't know, man. It's a weird, honestly, a weird thing. It's the girl that I was telling you about. That's from a town outside of Iowa City. Mm-hmm. That when I told her, because we were like, I was like, hey, maybe I can take you out on a date, and she's like, oh, I'm not ready to date, and I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. And so we, but like we got along really well, and we like have a lot of the same interests, and we like basically we just get along really well, and we have fun talking to each other. So I was telling her about this girl that who did my panda tattoo. I was like, I'm gonna like ask see if she wants to go out, And then she told me that she regretted not going out with me, so we met up. And then the second time we met up, she was like, "Hey, I don't really have any feelings for you. I wanted to give it a shot, but or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, obviously, like that sucked to hear. Yeah. But then she just kept talking to me, and I like kind of thought that it was like a friendly thing because we just get along so well, right?
Yeah.
And then I can't even remember. I can't remember what she said, but she alluded to the fact that she still liked me, and I was like, are you still interested? And she was like, well, she's like, I'll put it this way, you're the only person I talk to before, like I have a lot of friends that I like, but you're the only friend I talk to before I go to bed. I was like, oh, so you are still interested. And so we hung out a few more times, and then she was like, look, I don't want to get into too much of her personal business.
Yeah.
But basically she's like, look, I
got a lot going on.
Yeah, just like I don't know that I'll ever be ready to date. My last relationship kind of messed me up, and I was like, okay, that's like, I mean, that sucks. Like, I like you, obviously, but yeah. I get it. Like, and there's no point. Like, I've never thought that I've never been one to try to, like, convince somebody why it's a bad idea that they stop talking or doing whatever they want to do. Like, right. I think, like, if we're in a relationship or whatever is happening, then it should be a mutual thing. And so when she said that, I was like, all right, cool. That's, like, obviously it sucks, but I'll get over it. It's not a big deal.
Right.
So we had this conversation last Wednesday when I was at Penguins, and then the same thing happened though. She just kept talking to me, and I was like, look, if you're never going to be interested in dating, like, I have no problem being friends with you, but like right now, like where my feelings are at, I can't just keep talking to you and know that you have no intentions. And she was like, okay, so we like basically just didn't talk for a day.
Yeah.
And she, I was on Twitter and she was on Twitter, and she wrote this because I told her, like, I was like, if you keep talking to me and you have no intention, like, you're being selfish because you know how I feel.
Right.
And she's like, no, I agree. Like, that is. And then she, I mean, honestly, I just think she's kind of confused. I think she likes the attention, that I give to her. But yeah, she lasted the whole day, and she's like, all right, like, can we just like, do we have to date right now? Like, can we just keep talking? And I was like, yeah, that's what, like, that was the whole plan the whole time. Like, I never said you had to be my girlfriend or anything.
Right.
Just like you know how
be my girlfriend, yes or no?
Yeah. It was never anything like that. So, it's
Fuck,
just
marry, kill. Me or me?
Dude, it's been a weird ride, man. Because like I've gone back and forth too. Because I'm like, look, I think that she's probably not lying to me about. Because she's told me before, she's like, I'll break your heart, and I was like, usually when girls tell you that, they're not fucking lying, and I'm like, I don't want to go through that, and so I've like kind of. But
I've also seen like sometimes the girls that say that, I'll just break your heart. Like, those are the girls that say that to, I guess, make up for the fact that they're gonna go out of their way to break your heart, or they know they're gonna do something shitty,
right?
And they're like, I'm gonna apologize now because I'm kind of an asshole,
right?
Like,
that's her. And so like part of me is like, well, I want to believe you because I don't want to get my heart broken, but then, I don't know, man. Like, the one day she listened to our podcast so she could hear my voice because she's gonna kill me when she listens to that for telling that story. But like, she obviously likes me. She's just torn because I think she likes me, but she lives an hour and a half away, man. Yeah. There's logistical issues, and then also the fact that she's not ready to like commit or settle down. And she's been really honest, but also I'm like, maybe I should just call it quits. Maybe I should just be like, look, like, as much as I like you, like, I can't keep going back and forth. Because yesterday she went on a date with some guy, and like, because I told her, I was like, we're not together. Like, you do what you want, I can do what I want. But it bothered me, man, because like I didn't hear from her. Like, I'm used to talking to her all day, and I didn't hear from her for like, I don't know, 8 hours or something, and then. I talked to her for a little bit, like